this again to see if they have any stories where the entrepreneur decided to pivot or not pivot, or stay agile and pivot or not pivot. Over to you, folks.
So I wanted to share two examples from our portfolio, one of whom actually has sharpened their focus even more on what they're offering rather than pivoting into something else. And this is a business called Track Active, which uses an AI-based solution for musculoskeletal pain, which is neck and back pain. And now with remote working being the norm and employees working from home, clearly, I think the demand for the solution, obviously they sensed would be high enough. And so I think if anything, they have done away with some other distractions and focused even more on their core offering, which is a great example of not pivoting, but of course, having an external environment that is favorable. Where I've seen pivoting happen, again, as you said, it's often it's often been accelerated by customers dropping out. And if I take Recruitment Smart, which is the other business in recruitment, just before COVID, I think there was some great momentum happening with big international clients, and then suddenly things came to a bit of a standstill because everybody is kind of freezing recruitment right now, but they'd already begun and were fairly advanced in their internal talent matching solution, which in large corporates, now the focus is more first the internal workforce and reallocation of jobs and giving opportunities internally first. So that's the kind of pivot they've made. The other two kinds of pivots I've seen startups in the current market doing is first is geography. And I'm really talking of UK-based startups here, who traditionally have focused very heavily on the UK, Europe, and then started looking internationally. What I've seen a few of them now do is actively focus in areas like the Middle East, because they felt that the growth there currently is far more, or people are now much more open to digital, but also remote working is making them far more open to these solutions. So that's one kind of pivot I've seen in some of the startups who've shifted focus internationally, particularly the Middle East right now, where they feel the opportunity is more than in Europe, which has always been slow to react, but in the past it was felt to be a bigger market. And then the third kind of pivot that I've seen startups do is some of them have moved away from big enterprise. Now, again, I think it's always been a bit of a dilemma, because on one hand, big enterprise clients have the funding or have are able to spend, but the purchasing cycle can often be very long. And I think a few of them have decided it's better to move to the SME, mid-sized. Whereas interestingly, some of the SME ones are now moving towards the big enterprise ones, because they feel actually the sense of urgency is now bigger in big organizations. It all depends on the solution, who you are, what you do. But I'm just saying, I think some of the pivoting is also between small, mid, and large sized customers.